The Black Phone 2, once again directed by Scott Derickson, also co-writer once again, like its predecessor. It's been a few years since the first movie, and we get to see how Gwen and Finney have coped with the events of the previous movie. But Gwen's visions have become more intense and gruesome, now leading them down this rabbit hole full of mysteries of 3 boys that were once killed at this camp. Looking at the idea of a Black Phone 2, it was hard for me to see the reason why they would even want to do such a thing, creatively at least. Obviously, when a movie makes a lot of money, the studios are inclined to try to make a franchise out of it, basically, and thus, there you go, there's a new movie for a potential sequel to come out. But with Black Phone, it felt very standard. It felt very like we could deal with this one movie. It could stay as it is, and we'll be just fine with it. But when I saw the trailer for this film and what their idea was going for it, I was at least intrigued by it, but concerned nonetheless. Needless to say, I do find this movie to be quite enjoyable. I do find that the supernatural elements that they do have in this film may take you out a little bit if you're not into that sort of Nightmare on Elm Street-esque sort of film, which this is very, very much paying homage to or blatantly just ripping off at points. It may not be the movie for you, but there is still a lot of fun stuff with it. If you like more of the groundedness of the first movie, then I guess you won't like this one too much, but your groundedness of the first movie is still a kid that talked to a phone that wasn't connected to anything, talking to dead kids, so I could see why some people don't want to do as much supernatural as it is in this film, but as the genre leap that it takes and how well it's made, I think it works out just fine. The direction and camera work with this film is spectacular. Much like the first movie, Scott Derickson does do the same sort of grainy film and static noises when it is portraying as someone's in a dream currently right now. Similar effects to what they had done with his previous movie, Sinister. It's cool, it's effective. These transitions that you see where someone is transitioning from out of a dream into reality is really fun to see, with the fading sort of grain kind of becoming more HD, and then you start to lose some of the static and vinyl sounds that you would hear. So all of the creative choices and technical stuff with that is awesome to see. And I do believe that the characters are entertaining just as much as the first one, but almost in a different way though too, because as you start to watch the movie, this isn't really much of a spoiler, but it's more of a kind of forewarning for anyone that isn't, sort of sees this in a trailer. This film focuses way more on Gwen, who is played by Madalein McGraw, than Mason Thames' character Finney. But both have really great arcs and really great character sort of beats that they have to hit in this film that the previous movie, it builds off of that. So I do love a lot of that stuff, and I like the idea of how the first movie is more so of a Finney movie, and this movie is definitely much more of a Gwen movie. She has some of the best monologues in this movie. She has some of the best scenes because she's the one that's affected in these dreams the most out of anybody. So you get to see a lot of performances with her. There's a lot of physicality with her in this compared to the first one. I thought that those two, while you could say it's a co-lead for sure because Finney is more of like the main character because it happened to him to begin with, this is more definitely Gwen's movie than it is Finney's movie. And Ethan Hawke, once again, as the grabber in this film is also spectacular. It's another iteration of a horror villain character that probably could become iconic at this point. And based on how the masks look in this one, and like the different textures that they have, because it's in a snowy area and he's more demonic now because he's not alive. This is an apparition, basically. They do a lot of fun stuff with how he looks, especially like down to like just icicles on his face mask now, and like any of the prosthetics that is shown throughout the film when he takes pieces of the mask off is really, really fun to see. He's even more menacing in this than the previous one because it's just kind of like he's a ghost now, so there is no limitations to him being like human anymore. He's dead. He's in hell, as he talks about at points in this movie. So the gloves do come off a little bit with the grabber in this one, and it is way more gruesome than the first movie, which could be, a negative for some, but I didn't hate it. I thought it brought a new level to the sequel, per se. I think that Ethan Hawke is great. I really don't have any more notes on it. He's fantastic in most roles, and this is definitely probably one of his better roles in his career. Again, if you're not really a big fan of the sort of supernatural stuff taking a bigger leap in this, more so towards the Nightmare on Elm Street type of stuff, this movie may not be for you. And in the end, do I think that the Black Phone needed a sequel like Black Phone 2 now? No, I still feel like that the first movie was a much better sort of like cut and dry, this is the story, we're ending it here. But did I have a bad time watching the Black Phone 2? No, I thought it was very fun, it was entertaining, and, you know, if you're down to see a sequel that's probably just as good, maybe slightly worse in some instances than the first movie, it's a fun watch. I don't see where the problems is with this one. I'm going to give the Black Phone 2 4 stars. There is some bits in the script that is a little weird as far as dialogue goes, honestly. There's some conversations at points between certain characters that's kind of a little weird, and the pacing is definitely slower than the first one in the sense of it kind of feels like it's spinning its wheels at points, but none of this really detracted me mostly from the film. I thought that while the negatives are there, the highs of this movie are much higher than where the lows bring you down to. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. You can check down the links all down below for all the socials, where we are on TikTok, where we are on Letterboxd, and we are on Twitter, talking about all sorts of things on Twitter, especially movies and football. So, you know, you could see me talk shit about the Bears and wrestling at any point. Same thing with TikTok and Letterboxd, where we are currently right now, as I wear the shirt for it, we're watching a Scream marathon at my house because my sister has not seen them before. So we are down to the last one coming this weekend. So it was a good reminder of what these other films are like. And my rankings for that will probably go on Letterboxd soon. And it may surprise some people. It's definitely surprising me right now how much my list, I think, has changed over the years since the last movie was released. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep those cinemas alive, and I will talk to you all next time.